Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in. The continued support, I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have a weekly wrap up. This is my week 32, August 4th through August 10th, and all my reading shenanigans in between. So if you like to find out what was occupying my time, the beginning part of August and over my daughter's birthday, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, let's find the fuck out. Okay, so yes, week 32 was the birthday week of my daughter. She is 15. I have a 15-year-old officially now, guys. Holy shit. She takes driver's ed this year. Actually, she starts school soon, and I'm really pumped. I'm excited for her. I'm excited. This is a great year, and she's just got the world as her oyster at this point, all those cheesy things. But I'm super excited. And so in honor of my daughter's birthday, I decided to read a book that she recommended to me. And I completed it that week. And that is F.T. Lucan's In Deeper Waters. It's the first book I worked on during the week of August 4th through August 10th. And this is her recommendation. It's one of her favorite books. And I had a great time with this. So let's get talking about it. Okay. So, recommended by my daughter, Elizabeth. Now, mind you, my daughter is 15. And so she is in the young adult genre, which we all know I'm not a huge fan of that genre. But this was a good time. It was a good time. She was not wrong. She was not wrong. I was very happy. Young adult, romance. Always a good time. We feature some mythical sea creatures, and we do have some violence and gore, and we do have some triggers for PTSD, and pretty much this is a story of self-discovery, okay? A lot of young adult stories are, but this one definitely is a self-discovery book for sure. So a brief summary about this book. We feature Prince Taliesin, I think is how you say his name. I don't fucking know. It's fantasy. They had made up names. Okay, guys? So they just call him Tally in the book. So that's how I'm going to refer to him. Prince Tally. And he is on his coming of age tour. Now, he is the fourth child born to the queen. So he is not in line to be the heir. He is not the warrior. He's not the intellect. He is not the shapeshifter. What he is the residual mage of his great-grandfather, who was insane and everybody was scared of him. So he has inherited the magic ability. And so they have to keep this a secret because people are afraid, because the last mage that they had was his great-grandfather, and he was psycho. Fucking crazy and bloodthirsty and hungry. You know how that all goes. But because they were hiding him, there was rumors going around about him that he possibly did have magic, or he was very sickly. They kind of kept him in the shadows. So for a lot of his life, he was hidden away. Couldn't really be who he really was, even with his own family, in fear that it might get out. So he has had a very sheltered existence, and his coming of age tour is him going out and seeing the people and kind of experiencing being a teenager, essentially, because he's 17 years old in the story. And it's just supposed to be a good time, but it turns into being one of the most dangerous moments of his life and one of the most tumultuous, but one of the most rewarding as well. So while he's on his coming of age tour, he is kidnapped and ransomed. Now, he is ransomed for two reasons. One, if he shows his magic, he's going to be sold to the highest bidder because he's going to be used as a weapon. If he has no magic, then he's going to be ransomed to start a war to force his family into this war, allowing for different boundaries to be set out by the victor. So he's kind of screwed either way. And while he is kidnapped, he is tortured, he is belittled, but he comes to his own. And in a huge feat of awesome, he escapes. But he escapes into the middle of the ocean. And he is saved by our mythical sea creature, who he recently, saved earlier in the beginning of the book. We met him, but we didn't really know what his story was. We just knew he had a secret. And that is Athlin. Athlin is our other male hero in the story. And through a time while he's healing from his injuries while being kidnapped, Athlin and him learn about each other, about themselves, and learn to embrace who they really are, secrets and all, and hiding be damned. So that's kind of our story. It's really a good time, but what worked in this story? So first off, the duality of water and fire. I really, really enjoyed this. So Tally's power is fire. Athlin is a sea creature. He's a merman, okay? He is. Surprise, he's a merman. Water and fire cancel each other out. They always have. But they are both elements that can be very beautiful and very powerful at the same time, and can be very underestimated. People take advantage of fire, people take advantage of water, but they can do disastrous things. But they can also be beautiful to look at together simultaneously, and the steam and everything that they can create together can be just as powerful and just as beautiful. So I really liked that they gave our two heroes polar opposite kind of powers, and how they cancel each other out, but they also equal each other in strength and fortitude. I thought it was fucking great. And both of our heroes are pushed to the brink, so you can see their true force, and you can also see how they work together to kind of heal and fix each other. I loved the self-healing in this book. That was another thing in the story I really, really enjoyed. I loved the healing and the accepting of who you are as a person, whether it's your power, whether it's what you look like, whether it's how you act, how you even got there, just accepting that journey of who you are, and also going further in that journey and learning even more about who you are. And not just accepting what you went through, but taking it and learning from it and becoming the best version that you can. I really like that message in the story. I thought it was great. And I love the symbolism that our characters were using. Now, this is an MM romance, but if you really read this book, you can see that the coming out with that he is a mage and he is fire, the coming out that he's a merman and he's one of the last, that is very symbolic of coming out of the closet for a lot of gay men. And I thought it was fucking fantastic. I love the symbolism of it because it was so seamless. It was great, and I just fucking loved it. They no longer hid from who they were. They were no longer ashamed of who they were because they didn't have to be. They were badasses and rock stars in their own right, and now they got to fucking show it. And I just love the acceptance of this book. I love the openness. I loved this. The LGBTQ representation in this book was fantastic. I don't read a lot of LGBTQ representation books, but I really, really enjoyed this one, and I definitely had a good time with it. That representation was just epic, and I loved it. I loved the self-healing, the self-acceptance, and realizing that other people who love you will accept you as long as you're honest with who you are. They can't accept something that's fake. They have to accept you. So you have to open up and tell them who the real you is for them to accept the real you. And I just really love that. I love that again. The progression of the story really, really worked. The author's writing had a lot of movement. There was a lot of stuff happening, but it was still a very slow pace. So the way that they interweave this duality of speed and stillness was fantastic. I really enjoyed that feeling that I got in certain scenes where I feel like there's supposed to be a lot of action, but I was forced to remain slow and just take one page at a time, one moment at a time, one action at a time, one line at a time. And I thought it was fantastic. She did a really good job with the story. A lot of duality. I love it when authors do that comparison, that contrast, that polar opposite that they do, and how they weave it to make it seamless so it feels like something brand new and unique. And I thought it was great. Really enjoyed Tally. I thought his character was awesome. I thought he was a nerd and a dork in the beginning, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so stupid. I really thought that. I did. Sorry, Elizabeth, I did. But I really thought it was gonna be stupid. But as he grew and started to accept himself and become stronger and rely more on himself to protect himself, to stand up for himself, to utilize the gifts that he was bestowed with, and going against the innate destruction element, but forcefully saying, I'm not going to use this for negative. I'm not him. I'm me. You have to accept me, that I know how to use this the right way. I thought it was great. I loved his arc. His arc was awesome. And by the end of the story, I was rooting for him so hardcore. I was like, go Tally, he's awesome. He's such a badass. And he's probably the most powerful of all the kids. So dope. Dope as fuck. All right. Awesome. Loved him. Had a great time with him. I also really loved the cozy intimacy moments in the story. This is YA, so it's not very graphic. We do have some intimacy scenes, and they're alone in them. And I really enjoyed those moments where they got to know each other while knowing themselves. I love when when you actually get to see the couple getting to know each other and building those bonds of trust, dependence, reliance, belief, all of the things that takes to really like latch onto a person. And I loved seeing how those were built slowly but surely through his healing process. And then while he was physically healing from all his injuries, Athlin was healing from some of his past scars. I just thought it was so fucking sweet. Such a nice, cozy environment. Also had that seafaring aspect that I was still in kind of the mood for. So Elizabeth picked out a great fucking rec for me at the point in time in my life. I got this book when I needed it, and I really appreciated it a lot. It was fantastic. However, there was a lot of stuff that worked in this book, but there was some things that didn't work, and so that's how I am. We gotta go over it. The first thing was the obvious plot development. This could be to the fact that this is geared for 14 and up. The plot was very easy to figure out. It was very obvious who the love interest was. They were pegged very quickly. The dilemmas were pegged very, very quickly. There were a few twists, but they weren't twisty enough to really be like, what? Now, for my daughter, they were. I've read a considerably lot more books than my daughter has. So that also could be me just knowing kind of the tricks of the trade and seeing them done so many times that I can find it quicker, at least for me. But she really enjoyed the twist, so 14, 15. And she did read this book when she was 14. That was the first time she read when she was 14. So she enjoyed it, and so I would recommend it based off her recommendation alone for 14-year-olds. But the obvious plot development for at least adults who read a lot of like adult high fantasy, it's very obvious. So that could kind of bore you a little bit. It could, but the coziness of the plot developments and just the pace of them is enough to, I think, to keep you going for sure. The third act breakup, that was extremely obvious. That I guessed it very early on, looked at my daughter, and she was just like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, got it. The lines that were used implied exactly what the breakup was. So I really didn't enjoy that part. I wish there would have been a little bit more intrigue to that, because I think based off the other writing within this book, we could have seen a little bit more intrigue with that. It didn't have to be given to us so early, because it kind of just was like, I already know it's coming. So now I'm just like waiting for the shoe to drop. Like I was waiting for it because I knew what it was. And I don't mind when the other shoe drops, but I don't like knowing that the other shoe is going to drop. Does that make sense? I don't like knowing what shoe is going to drop, but I know it's going to happen. I just guessed it. I guessed it way too early for the comfort of the book, for me. This is a very slow burn, so if you're looking for a little bit spicier romance, no, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's very slow burn. We have a cute little makeout scene, some implied further development, which would have been nice to fucking see, but I do understand this was geared for 14-year-olds. I completely understand that, so I respect that. But if the author ever wants to turn this to adult, easy. And you have an audience. You do. You have a very captivated audience, because that would have been epic. Oh, that cave scene would have been dope as fuck. Would have been great. Would have been great. But it's YA. They're 17. Let's just be honest. That would have been weird. It would have been a little weird. The other thing that I didn't like was the lack of communication. A lot of this story could have been avoided if people just fucking talked. But I do understand it's a coming of age story. I remember being 17. You like to play things close to the vest because you don't want to get hurt. You're in a very vulnerable state. You're in a very vulnerable mindset. And so you don't realize that you're doing it until you're out of it and you're looking at somebody else going through it. You're like, you're playing everything close because you're so scared of taking that leap. So I get the lack of communication because it was first time for a lot of people discussing some of these things in this book. But at the same time, again, this is an adult high fantasy reader going in to a young adult high fantasy. And so it's, you see that. Like, I feel like there would have been more communication if it was dealing with adults versus teenagers. So I didn't really enjoy that, but what I did get, I did enjoy. And once talking started happening, people started opening up, people started trusting that the other person wasn't going to screw them over. I enjoyed it because the defense of why they weren't talking just wasn't strong enough. It was very teenagery, very much the age range for this book reasons, and those reasons just weren't strong enough because I know going as an adult, you're just like, yeah, that's not a good enough reason. Like, there were times I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, I have told my daughter, that's not a good enough reason, open your damn mouth. Like, that's not a good enough reason for me. You need to do better. So I felt kind of the mom role in some areas when those conversations weren't happening. They needed to happen because I knew what could come of conversations, but they have to learn on their own, I guess, parenthood. Fantastic. As for a spice rating, I gave this a 1.5 chili pepper. We do have some fade to blacks with some makeout scenes, and we do have some implied nudity and desire and lust that is clearly there, just not described, but it is implied that he's topless, he's naked when he changes, and people are turning away like, oh my God. Yeah, when they're like, everybody's turning away, I'm like, the fuck, they wouldn't do that. They would be like this. It would that kind of turn away. Like, I would have like seen it written like that versus like, oh my God, no. That made it really young when she had the other characters do that around like nudity types. And I was just like, that's annoying. That's annoying. So, but 1.5 chili pepper, the intimate scenes were very cute. I enjoyed them. This gave me exactly what I needed. I like this little seafaring adventure. I thought it was a good time, and I do plan on picking up the other book by this author. It's called, So This Is Ever After. It's another romance. So I did enjoy it. The only other gripe I have is this cover. These guys are cute. This is not the description that I got of the characters, okay? These are cute guys. The descriptions I got were kind of nerdy, and then by the end, they got hot, like in a matter of like 2 weeks. Like, what? Like, I didn't get that part. But that's neither here nor there. But I did have a good time with this, so thank you, Elizabeth, for recommending this book to me. And she actually recommended some other books that I plan on picking up because I guess my daughter has good taste in books. She gets it from her mama. Yeah. Both of them. Because her biological mother was also a very, very big reader too. So I think that's really cool that both of us have been able to give this gift to Elizabeth. And she has picked fantastic books. I gave this 3.5 stars. It was a good time. Do recommend. Definitely want to pick up that author again. The next book I started last week, but I have not finished, so I'm still working on, is A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley, I think is how you say her name. This is a dark romance because I had enough of the slow burn. Give me my smut, guys. Give me my smut. I need it. Thank you. So I'm getting it. This is not a Little Mermaid retelling, but it has basis in Little Mermaid. It's basically Ariel married Eric and then the aftermath because Eric's a total dick. Yeah. And Ariel's not a mermaid. She's a siren. Yeah. So I feel like I'm going to like this. I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this. This is April's, one of her favorite books of, I think, last year. I'll link her channel in the down box below. I can't remember off the top of my head what her channel name is right here. I can't remember the name of the channel is right now, but her name's April. Sorry, girl. Like, it blinked. But I'll link her in the down box below. But yeah, I'm reading this book and I'm already loving it. Like, I started it and in one sitting, I cleared 80 pages in one sitting because I couldn't put it down. And then I had to put it down because I had to go to my appointment. So, like, I'm excited about this. I feel like this is Little Mermaid meets Pirates of the Caribbean meets fucking awesome. So I'm really excited to see where this goes and I'm enjoying these seafaring books. I'm like just eating all this ocean books up. I don't know why. It's a thing. It's a thing now. It's a new subgenre that I'm just absolutely obsessed with right now. So bring it on. Let's do this. So, and this is the anniversary edition of the book. A lot of people see another version of this book, but this is the one that I have. It's hardcover, and there are some drawings in here. We have some really nice graphics in here, which I think is really cool. So I will show you. So we have the ship broken down, which I really appreciate this because so far in the book, she's using a lot of nautical terms, and I know what they are because I'm a Navy brat and I've heard my dad say these things, but it's for somebody who's not familiar with like the breakdown of a ship, like fore and aft and all the other kind of stuff, or like the head or anything, like the actual boat terminology, this comes in really handy. So I thought that was really nice that this was included, and you know, it is the ship that we're talking about, the Nightwind. I don't know what the cat is yet. So I haven't gotten to the cat yet, but it's a cute little baby. It's a baby. So, and then we also have some nice artwork in here. So this is the prologue image for Marin. I think it's, yeah, Marin is hers. And then we also have Ramsey's image. These are the only two images I've seen so far. So yeah, there's some nice artworks in here. I'm excited. I do like pictures in my books sometimes. It's kind of nice to see them every once in a while. But yeah, this is what I'm currently working on now, along with an audiobook that I started. But I barely started, so we're just going to talk about that next week. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, thank you, Elizabeth, for recommending this book to me. I had a great time, and I look forward to your other recommendation. So happy birthday, kiddo. I hope 15's a kick-ass year. That's all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys all soon with another video.